Most modern men, even men that are ambition, who have the capability of high performance, are struggling with low levels of self trust. And that's usually the cause of broken promises, not to others, even though that can affect it, but it's broken promises towards themselves. And when you actually look at this again from any aspect that you want to, when you look at people that are highly successful, who have everything it looks in terms of their lifestyle, their finances, their energy, anything that comes to mind when you think about who a high performer is, they always follow through with their word. They tell themselves that they're going to train at a certain time. They tell themselves that they're going to attend X amount of meetings throughout the day. They still have time to be able to, again, whether it's family, learning new skills, they follow through with it. Now, it's only when on the opposite side, when you tell yourself that you're not going to follow through, or again, you tell yourself you're going to train, but you don't follow through. You tell yourself that you're going to focus on building that new skill or allocate a certain amount of time towards a business, and you get yourself distracted and you don't follow through. And that's what destroys self trust in yourself. And essentially, what's happening, even though you tell yourself that you're going to do it another time for another day, is you're training your brain psychologically that you're hesitant, that the words that you tell yourself, they're not as serious or concrete as they should be. And that's when your brain understands that you're negotiable, and that issue bleeds into other faculties and facets of your life. And the way to do this, again, there's a way to rebuild this. And the way to do this isn't adding more goals. Usually people think adding more into their day is what's going to help resolve this, but that's a complete opposite. Because if you can't follow through with what you tell yourself you're going to do, adding more is going to be the absolute opposite of it. So instead, what you need to do is focus on non negotiables. I like to keep things simple. Focus on just one non negotiable first. It doesn't have to be two, it doesn't have to be three, it could just be one. And that non negotiable should be something that you currently lack in. So, perfect example, I like going to the gym. I like training. For me, that's not necessarily discipline. I could do another physical skill and it doesn't require me to put a lot of willpower to do it. Now, if it's something much more difficult, for example, let's just say deep work, that would be my non negotiable. So you need to do something that you currently struggle with. Maybe you're great at deep work. Maybe you're already great at focusing on business, but your physical health lacks. And that's the next thing that you need to focus on. So whether that means for the next 30 days you train daily or you do 10K steps daily, that's going to be your non-negotiable. Again, just choose one. And it doesn't have to be that. It could be anything that's physical related if you struggle in that department. Now, if you're doing great physically, then it could be something like I just suggested. It could be 1 hour of deep work. It could be 1 hour of learning content and not just watching YouTube videos and just passively enjoying it and not doing anything. But it could be 1 hour of learning and implementing. That way in 30 days you can see a change. So keep it simple, one non negotiable for 30 days, and keep it binary. That's another thing. You want to make sure that it's a yes or a no, whether or not you were able to follow through with it or if you didn't. Never give yourself wiggle room. Again, for example, if you're doing 10K steps daily, if you just did 9K steps or 9.9K, that doesn't count as 10K. Keep it binary whether or not you followed through, because that's going to hold you accountable when you're doing the action. That way you can start to see when your brain starts to negotiate with yourself. That way, again, you have more of an overview at the end of 30 days of how much you were able to complete and how accurate you were, right? Were you 100% on bar? Were you 95, 90%, 85%? Because that gives you a current idea of where you're currently at. And then, of course, the other one would be to remove one thing that is providing you comfort. Because again, comfort is the thief. It's going to be seeping into anything you can think about. That could be removing the snooze alarm. That could be removing junk food. That could be removing alcohol. That could be removing weed. Anything that provides a level of comfort, remove that one thing that is not providing you the productivity of being that better version of yourself. So, again, very simple breakdown. One non negotiable, keep it binary, remove one thing that is providing you comfort, track it for 30 days. At the end of 30 days, you're going to be able to have a better understanding. And from there, again, if you're successful, which you should be, go ahead and start to add another one or two non negotiables after that. That's when you can get a little bit more, I don't want to call it aggressive, but that's when you can start to taper it up more further because now you've already been able to train yourself and your brain should already have the ability to understand that you're not as negotiable as you currently thought you were. And the great thing about this is, again, you don't need to make it complex. I understand that a lot of us, we want to add more things. We want to overcomplicate things because we think complication or complex structure and systems, it's what's going to be the solution to it. It's actually not. You don't need complexity. You need simplicity. When you add simplicity to your day, your weeks, your months, that's what's going to lead to more further results that you're looking for. So start doing it now. And I'm telling you, you're going to notice a big difference.